We are back. Now, all of us have seen professional wrestling on television, haven't we? You've seen it? All right. Well, my next guest is a writer who is about to give us some insight on the wrestling scene behind what we see. He's actually going to try to blow the lid off of the world of wrestling. Please say hello to Irvin Muchnick. I read your article in this month's Penthouse magazine, and
very reputable magazine.
Well, certainly, and that's the only reason I look at it is because the articles are so good. Anyway, but you were in there, and you had a pretty exhaustive article about big-time wrestling. Kind of took the magic out of it.
Yeah, Ross.
Just capsulize a little bit of that for the folks here.
Well, my article tells the incredible saga of the Von Erich wrestling family of Dallas, Texas. They were probably the hottest act in the business long before Hulk Hogan caught fire. Mm-hmm. And they're now the sport's most embarrassing sleazeballs, I would say. The Patriot...
No, I don't want you to hold back. If there's something you want to say...
I'm being kind.
Embarrassing sleazeballs.
Well, the patriarch of the family, Fritz Von Erich, who's a promoter and a former wrestler, is a larger-than-life figure straight out of King Lear. And he was obsessed with the idea of turning his 4 sons into wrestlers and creating a dynasty. And he came close to achieving that, but in the last 4 years, 2 of his sons have died drug-related deaths. To make matters worse, with each new tragedy in the family, he's exploited it all the more to build into the hype and incorporate it.
Make it a bigger event, yeah.
Right.
It turned it kind of into a money-making
And finally, the clincher is that he's a born-again Christian. His show is produced and distributed by a division of Pat Robertson's Christian Broadcasting Network, and religion is very much a part of the whole scene of that promotion. Now, the links between wrestling and televangelism have been noted before, but they're really explicit here.
You really think that there is a correlation between the two?
Well, the media manipulation, the hype, the mass psychology. I should say that I don't think World-Class Championship Wrestling, which is kind of Jim and Tammy Baker with a drop kick, is typical of the business as a whole, but I do think it's a fascinating window on some of wrestling's more egregious excesses.
I don't know what you just said. I don't know what an egregious excess is.
Well, by that I mean it's hype, it's exploitation of emotion, and it's lies. Let's call it as it is.
So you don't think that they don't think it's real at all, because that's what the way it's sold. And I have been to wrestling matches, and people get so excited. And believe it. Oh, I can't believe Hulk Hogan, Big John Studd is going to do this to him, and you know it is a fantasy that is that's lived.
Yeah, Ross, I have to say this though. That I have a lot of affection for the wrestling business. My uncle, who's now retired, was one of the leading promoters in the country for many years, and I have a lot of admiration and respect for the guys who put their bodies on the line night after night and at great risk and give us all a good show. Not only that, but I'm friends with a lot of them, and they're almost all a lot bigger than I am. But I don't think that the fact that wrestling is not the epitome of the Greco-Roman tradition comes as a shock to anyone. I think all fans, or almost all of them, understand that at some level, and that it involves suspension of disbelief, and it's a good show.
So why do people go? Is it because it's just a show? Because when I witnessed people, it seemed like it was much more than that.
Well, I think it involves catharsis and all the things that we enjoy about fiction. I mean, wrestling gives us the ability to watch all social differences become resolved by physical aggression. People have different ethnic backgrounds, or they have feuds or grudges against each other. You know, they beat up on each other. We don't get to do that in our daily lives. And I think that it has the additional advantage, unlike, say, professional boxing. People are not actually inflicting brain damage on each other, so you can kind of have it both ways. And I think that's a large part of the appeal.
Should kids watch professional wrestling? Children?
Well, I'm going to have a kid soon, and I'll have to make that decision. I think that, to a point, it's okay. I mean, my beef with wrestling now is that there's too much of it. I don't think that there's anything on television that's really going to harm you. I think it's basically a goofy, fun form of junk entertainment and should be regarded as such.
And you don't have any real affection toward Hulk Hogan either, I'm to told.
Well, look, Hulk Hogan, I mean, he could care less what I think about him. The guy makes $1 million a year. He is not the greatest wrestler in the world. Anybody in the wrestling business who knows anything will tell you that. He is a tremendous presence. He's a large man. He spends a lot of time in suntan parlors. He uses a lot of peroxide, and he does a great interview. But if you're going to talk about great pro wrestlers, you got to talk about, you know, the Ric Flairs and the Ted DiBiase's and the Randy Savages, and there are a lot of them. Hulk Hogan is not one of them. He's not a terrible wrestler, but he's certainly...
But he's the world champion.
He's not the world champion at this point.
Oh, he's not.
But he's the people's champion.
Okay. Well, I hope for your sake you don't run into him.
Yeah. Hulk, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Irv. Interesting. Irvin Muchnick. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back, folks.